Hey guys, welcome back to the Young Saints podcast. Today we got another special episode. We got two special guests with us. Here pretty soon we're having our Fields of Faith event. Collaborating with the Dilley FCA and all of what they got going on over there in Dilley. That's up this upcoming Wednesday, and I wanted to have this episode the weekend before because I wanted to, not necessarily hype up what's happening, but I just wanted to build some anticipation to what's going to happen, this upcoming Wednesday there in Dilley. But without further ado, without taking any more time, I want to introduce our guest. First, we got Avery.
Hi, I'm Avery. I'm a junior at Dilley High School. I'm a cheerleader. I show animals. And that's about it.
That's Avery. And then second, and for sure not least, I'm not going to say that, we have Miss Lindley Searles.
My name's Lindley. I'm also a junior at Dilley High School. I'm very involved through 4-H and FFA. I show heifers and steers, and I'm also a varsity cheerleader.
So, whenever we had our first high school FCA meeting a few months ago, actually, I asked all the members and, the leaders of FCA, who would want to be a part of a podcast. For those of you that tuned in last week, you saw Jonathan Ocio was a part of the podcast, and these were the other individuals, I guess you can say, that said yes. And if you look at Lindley, she's over here nodding no, because whenever I put out who are the upcoming guests, I put other FCA members, and she really didn't. She didn't. Can you put the camera on her real quick? And one thing that you notice with Lindley, she has a lot of facial expressions, and she talks with her expressions a lot. And but the thing about it is that I posted upcoming guests, and I only put other FCA members. The reason why I put that is because I didn't know if they're gonna actually come or not. You got anything to go off of that?
Tisk.
But you put Jonathan on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to change the subject, because they feel like nah. But I had asked the members of who would be willing to be on the podcast, and these girls were willing. And girls, I thank y'all for being on here. We have a few questions I wanted to ask y'all, both of y'all, but I know for sure, FCA has been something that y'all been really involved in this past year and a half. And I guess my first question, I'll go with you, Avery, first,
okay.
is how has FCA helped you individually, personally?
I think FCA has really helped me just develop and grow and walk with the Lord more, because I have people to help me through the tough times, and I feel like having a group of people you can go to no matter what is really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Especially ones that share the same faith as you and help you grow in your faith rather than hold you back.
Yeah. Lindley, you got anything?
I feel like FCA has helped me because in the past, before we started FCA, I kind of separated church and my faith from school.
Yeah.
And so FCA helped join my extracurriculars and being a Christian, and then also being around other people. Some of the people that are in FCA I didn't even know were Christians, and so that helps knowing who to go to when.
In other words, it kind of establishes that community, and it's funny that you say that, how I didn't even think that was the case, but you said that you separated school and your religious side of things, and I'm not actually, now that I think about it, I've never thought about that, and that's probably the case with a lot of students. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that we started FCA. If I'm being honest, it's not something that I just came up with, or hey, should we start? Y'all were actually the ones that came up to me and said, hey, we should start this, and you actually egged on, or kind of bothered me with it for a good month or two, and then I talked to some coaches about it and how to start it, and we got it going. But I think it's cool how it kind of just establishes that community of believers in the student age group, that you have those people that you can turn to, you have those people you can talk to, and like you said, Lindley, that's it, you notice people hey, I didn't know he was a Christian or she was a Christian, and it's cool to see that, because it shows me, as I guess you can say, the leader of the whole thing, that it's worth it and it's helping y'all individually. Last year we had our Fields of Faith last October, around the same time as this upcoming one. Y'all were obviously there. Can y'all kind of reflect back to that one and kind of give me your take on what you thought about it at first, and then we'll talk about how it impacted people and all that. But what was your first initial thoughts whenever it was happening?
My first initial thoughts whenever Field of Faith was happening, I thought it was a very big event. It's the biggest Christian event we've had in Dilley.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it personally affected me a lot. I felt a shift in my heart, and I definitely felt closer with the Lord after Field of Faith.
Yeah.
It was honestly like one of an experience that I don't think I'll have again.
And I going off of that, Avery, I think that was one type of event that you just sit there and you just let it sink in. Like, you know what I mean? It's the type of moment in your life where you're probably going to remember it for the rest of your life type deal. Lindley, what were your initial thoughts about it?
Before it started, like we set up and everything, I thought it was going to be like another event, like fifth quarter or something like that. It was one of the like first Christian events I'd gone to, like outside of my church. And so I was like really shocked to see that many people and like people around me that I didn't think would show up. And so that like really shocked me. Yeah.
Yeah. So. And going off of what you just said, there's still people till this day that tell me, hey, I remember last year's FCA event. I was like, you were there? Like, but then again, that just proves to me like how many people were there.
There was a lot.
And the FCA, representative of our area, his name is Keith Higginbottom. He and some other FCA people, they went around and counted how many people were there. And they came up to me during the service and they're like, yeah, there's more than 500 people here. I'm like, and they tell me that right before I went up to go preach. And I was like, well, thanks for letting me know. Like, this is like the biggest crowd I've...
No pressure, but...
like literally, honestly, like right before I stepped on stage to preach, I was like, man, this was the biggest crowd I've ever preached in front of altogether. Like, I've been on TV and radio and stuff, but all collectively together in one place, that was the biggest thing I've ever been a part of. But, kind of going off of that, girls, I guess y'all both already touched on like how it impacted you, but what's something that you've seen or how has it impacted others that were there or the community maybe? Like if y'all could kind of give me y'all's take on that.
I definitely think that it changed a lot of the people in our school, like, because from what I saw quite a few people there that I didn't even know would even think that way. And I feel as though like I definitely see a difference in them now than I did then. And I think it definitely changed my perspective on everybody. And I think it changed their perspective on the Lord.
Yeah. Lily?
Yeah, kind of the same thing. And like nobody really talked about FCA or anything like that until after. And it was like, whoa, like no one even talked about faith at school. And so it was just kind of like I feel like a lot of eyes were opened and like just looking around, like seeing the people that like their reactions and stuff like that. That was really cool.
And I'm really glad that we got on camera too. I'm sure y'all have seen the videos that I've made or the pictures that I posted of it. You could literally see in people's faces like the impact,
the reality.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I get you. And what out of that service was kind of like your favorite part, or is like the part where you're like, whenever you think of that event, that's the moment you think of? Like, is there any specific moment?
Honestly, just the praise and worship when everybody went to the front and we all just like hugged each other. I know I started crying. I started crying in Lily's arms. It was definitely, that's like one moment that definitely stuck out to me.
Yeah. And Lily?
Yeah, like the altar call, and then like looking around and seeing my little brother's friends just like bawling.
Yeah.
Like it was just like crazy to see that like younger people like that are also moved like we are.
Yeah, and I think the big thing that I took away from it was that one moment, and we'll get the video, but there's a video, and I posted it. I've used this moment the most. It's whenever we shouted something. And then we shouted a phrase, and then we shouted, right? And everyone, like hundreds of people shouting all together. It was loud.
There is power in the name of Jesus.
But it was crazy because you can see in the video, people start yelling and then they just start bawling, crying. I was told, because afterwards, I don't remember what I did right when it finished, but right when we finished the service or the field or the event, whatever, I was told that people were literally walking to their cars still crying. Like it wasn't like in the moment crying, all right, I'm done, whatever. Like it was like a continual thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know. So what do y'all have anything else about last year's event like that y'all kind of wanted to bring up about it? Or
like I know in our friend group we hadn't really like gone to anything together like that, and so like us being a part of FCA and like joining with others like that, like we were all with our friend groups and we were all crying like in each other's arms, and so I feel like that really like brought us closer, and I know it did for a lot of other people. It was also like an event that like really changed me. Like I look back to other events like fifth quarter and stuff like that, but that one had like the most impact on me.
Yeah. And why do you think that's the case?
I don't know. I guess how many people were there, and like, I don't know.
It's just different, right? It's a different atmosphere.
Yeah.
Especially like 500 plus people. Of course, it's gonna be different. But I think, I know what makes the big difference is whenever all these hundreds of people, we all come together with the same mindset and the same goal, and is we're gonna, worship God and hear testimonies and hear the word, and we're all here for the same purpose, in other words. And so I think that's one of the big reasons why collectively there's a huge impact. On the flyer that FCA makes for us, they put on the bottom, changing your community, or like changing the culture of your community. I definitely think last year's Fields of Faith did that, and I could only imagine what this upcoming one's going to be.
Yeah.
And so since we're talking about it, what do we expect from this upcoming event? I'll give you my first take, and then y'all can give what you expect. But I know for a fact I'm expecting, I'm not really big on numbers. I try not to think about it too much. Like, of course, we've been talking about how last year's was 500 plus people, whatever. But I really try not to worry about that, because if you worry about that and not as much show up, you kind of get affected by that because you're so focused on it. So I think I focus more on who is there and how can I help these people. And so I think one of my biggest expectations for this upcoming one is definitely, yes, we saw change last year, like how you are saying, amongst your friends and the school. But I believe that this year we're going to see like a continual shift. Like, yes, people shifted, but if we're being honest, I want to say at least 60 to 70% of those people that went to the service, they probably don't go to church. Y'all think that's true? Yeah. And so this is their church. This is their one church service that they'll probably go to the whole year. And I really do think that, we got to take advantage of that. Not saying that we're going to make it a big church service, right? That's not what I'm trying to say. But what I'm saying is we're so focused on helping these individuals become what God wants them to be, that, that's what we expect to happen. Like, and so Avery, what would you say on what you're expecting?
I'm kind of expecting, like you said, don't focus on numbers, but obviously a lot more people.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you said, there was a shift last year, but I think that since people have gone to the past one, and then if they go again this year, I think that that'll really it'll be a continual shift throughout the year instead of kind of just stopping there for them. Like maybe they'll start trying to find like a youth service to go to, find a group of people that'll help them move forward, and just like overall like change our school as a whole.
And I'll tell you what, if it changes the school, imagine what it'll do to the community. And then it just becomes like a big effect, like a rolling effect, or like a domino effect, really. And going off of what you're saying, Avery, like a lot of these young people, would y'all agree with me if I said that a lot of young people, especially people like your age, like, they're in a certain point in their lives where they're trying to find which way to go. Like, the
Mhm.
way that I always say it is they're at a crossroads in their life. Like, they're kind of like, am I going to go this way? Am I going to go that way?
Mhm.
And I just feel like this service that we're fixing to have is going to be that big moment where these people like officially like, all right, I'm all in for this. And I'm trying to commit myself to God more than I did before. And so, Lindley, what would you say you expect from?
I expect more people from like other towns. I know
Mhm.
I've invited a lot of people from other towns, but I feel like it's gonna be a different crowd than it was last time.
Yeah.
Obviously with some of the same people, but I don't know. I feel like it's really gonna move people. And I know our FCA group is expecting a lot more,
Mhm.
but I think we're also focusing on quality over quantity and like
Yeah.
trying to be mentally prepared to help that many people.
And I want to just say again what she said: quality over quantity, not focus on how much,
Mhm.
but more specifically on how we're orchestrating what's happening.
Mhm.
And of course, God has full control of what happens, right? But definitely, He uses us as His instruments to do those things.
Mhm.
And for those of you that may not know, I know we've been promoting this. Obviously, this is the Young Saints podcast. And the reason why we've been promoting this, not just because I'm the leader of the SGA group or whatever, not any of that, but because, our worship team is going to be there. And it's going to be real different because we're planning on bringing some heavy, how can you say it? Some heavy hitters. So that's the way
Mhm.
we've been saying it. Like, we're going to be playing the song Praise, Gratitude,
Mhm.
Firm Foundation,
Mhm.
and I can't remember the rest of them, and I'm the one that made the set list. But like, we're gonna be playing a lot of songs with a lot of purpose behind it. You know what I mean? Like Firm Foundation. Like we're trying to show people like, hey, like Christ is your foundation, and if you go anywhere else, like you're not gonna last.
Mhm.
Like and one thing that we've been talking about is. And I know I put it out there already, but Miss Avery, she's gonna be one of the student speakers there. Lindley's gonna be one of the MCs, so in other words, one of the people that are just helping with the transitions and welcoming people in the beginning and closing the service at the end and stuff like that. Lindley and Bella are gonna be doing that, but along with Avery, we have Brazos, we had Isabella, Maddie. And then Jonathan's going to be bringing the message that night. And so, we just got a lot going on and it's exciting. My question to you is, girls, is I've been thinking, what more can we do? And I feel like there's times where we get so caught up in doing a lot of things, but there's not a lot of purpose behind it. And that's why I don't spill out everything I want to do, because sometimes it's just me that wants to do it. Like, you know what I mean? And I don't want that to be the case. But you know how Fields of Faith is during football season.
Mhm.
I've been thinking, and I actually talked to Coach Foster about it. Like, what about doing an event like this on the baseball field?
Mhm.
That'd be insane. Like,
Yeah.
it's called Fields of Faith, and we have it in the parking lot right in the middle of all our facilities, right? But I just think it would be cool maybe have something in the gym during basketball season, something on the baseball field during that season.
Mhm.
And I say baseball because it's bigger and it could hold more
Yeah.
people. But what do y'all think about that? Like, would that be something would be cool to do?
I think for sure that would definitely be something good to do.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously putting these events together is not the easiest
Oh
thing.
no, of course
but
not.
I think it's definitely worth it to help change our community.
Yeah.
And I think having more of these events will maybe help people get closer
Yeah.
to God.
Yeah, because I think kind of having that once a year type thing is like, it's a big impact, right? Like
Mhm.
how we're saying. But my thing is, we want people to be more consistent in their faith walk, and once a year type of things. If this is what they're feeding off of,
Mhm.
imagine if you only ate once a year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That wouldn't work out well. What do you
Mhm.
think, only about?
I like that idea. I think it would like make a bigger impact because people go through many seasons of life,
Mhm.
me included. So I feel like sometimes if you do it just once a year, it won't make the biggest impact. But if you stay consistent with it, like people will really like continue outside of the events.
Yeah. And my next question for y'all, and I know this is not one we talked about beforehand, and you're like, uh-oh. No, but it's this pretty simple question, and I'll let y'all, think about it. But why do y'all think it's so important for people y'all's age to have God in your life in a serious way? Not have a little scripture on your bio, not just, post a Christian song on your note every now and then. Like, I'm talking about like actually being serious about your walk with God. Why do y'all think? And I've asked many people this question on this podcast, and obviously, I want y'all's perspective on it. But why do y'all think it's important for someone your age to be serious with God now, not later?
I think because we are at a crossroads in our life, we're trying to figure out which direction we want to go. And I think if we stray from him and if we don't try and walk with God in this part of life, then we won't end up where we are, where we are called to be. And I think that right now is like the biggest time for us to walk with him, because we are figuring out colleges, what we want to do in the future. And I just think that without him, we wouldn't really, I'm not going to say we wouldn't go anywhere, but I feel like we'll do what we are called to do rather than doing what we think is best for us.
Yeah.
So
I think, kind of going off of that, whenever you make decisions without God in it, it could feel good and it could look good for the moment, but it's something that's gonna, like, going back to that song from Foundation, you're not gonna have that foundational piece, And so, like, whenever, like, for example, let's say you get married, right? Let's just say that happens. You get married and God's not the center of your marriage. Like, literally, your marriage probably is not going to last long. Not because of anything about you individually, but because God is the definition of love in this case. And without the true meaning of love in your relationships, it ain't gonna filter together, Yeah. But why do you think, Lindley, it's important for us to
like you said, the verses in everybody's bios and just like posting a song here and there. I saw a TikTok.
I hit on the dot or what?
Yeah, I saw a TikTok this morning and it was at a church camp and it was like, what's Joshua 1:9? And the kid didn't know what to do, and it was like a screenshot of their Instagram bio and it had it in there, and they were like blinking, like there was like 3 people that knew. And so it just like shows what it means to have a surface relationship with God rather than a deep relationship. And
okay, go ahead.
But yeah, I think it, like, also being an example to others. I feel like if you don't have a deep connection with God yourself and you try and be perceived as a Christian and like you, I don't know how to explain it, but
you can't preach what you don't know.
Right.
Well, I'll say like this, and not to put any more pressure on like those of you talking this upcoming event, but we've talked about it in our, like, especially in the meetings last year. I feel like we would always talk about, being a Christian more than just with our words, like, but, it's kind of like, I don't want people to know that you are Christians just by what you say, but by but by what you do, And we've talked about that actually quite a bit. And actually, us 3 are here. We've, as a collective, like, group right here, we've talked about it quite a bit. And I think one thing that, young people like yourselves is they need to see other young people like you doing it the right way. Does it make sense? And so that's why, like, those of you that say in your testimonies, or Jonathan that's bringing the message, I tell y'all beforehand, like, hey, this ain't no like thing. Like, this ain't no little speech and debate team, like, type of thing. Like, I'm sorry. I'm just like, nah. But the thing, what I'm trying to say is, like, it's not no speech that we give at the pep rallies or anything like that. Like, in other words, it's a much bigger thing than your other types of speaking arrangements. Like, because y'all do a lot, like, y'all are cheerleaders. So y'all are involved in a lot of events like that. Yeah. So I'm just, I try to tell y'all and make y'all realize that, hey, this is very important. Like, we do not want to do this the wrong way. We want to make sure we do it with our heart, like, And that's what I remember one time we were talking about prayer in one of our meetings, and we talked about how, if we're going to pray, we got to do it with our heart, like, And so my next question for you girls is, if I remember correctly, I believe you have some lyrics for me or something about rapping or something like that.
I don't know.
So at our last meeting, Lindley was it ChatGPT?
Mhm.
She ChatGPT'd some lyrics about FCA. I think what I can I get your
Hang
phone?
on. My phone's like turning on now.
Oh, I forgot
Since
you
you told
turned it.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, can you pull it up? And they told me I have to rap this. I don't know how this is gonna come out. I don't know how we're gonna do this, but we're gonna make it work. But
Why are you
Hey,
lying?
you rapped it
You literally
before.
told us that you wanted to rap and you were just gonna blame it on us.
Yeah, you literally already rapped it. So I don't know what you're talking about.
okay, but here's the thing. That was like 2 months ago, and I don't remember how I
It was
rapped
not
this.
like
It
2 months
was-
ago. It was like 2 weeks ago.
Oh, I get you.
Where's the
Okay,
beat? What are we
so you want to make a beat?
doing?
I just
Oh.
We could do that.
Nah.
Mm.
do
No.
it. That's funny. Like, what do you do it? Do
All
it.
right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Mm. Mm.
Yo, we gather in the morning, starting off the day. Faith in our hearts, yeah, we reppin' FCA. Bible in our hand and prayer on my mind. Teamwork, love, and Jesus all intertwined. Huddle up strong, we don't walk alone. God's work is the playbook, set in stone from the field to the court. We let His light shine, living for the kingdom. Victory's divine, yeah, discipline and hustle. We give our best, but it's hey, those are lyrics I haven't seen yet, so I couldn't.
Yikes.
Hey,
him off.
that was pretty tough. Though I'm like,
Yeah, that was kind of fire.
here you go. But
Yeah.
those of you watching this episode, give me a rate to 1 to 10 on how that sounded. I'll be releasing my next rap album here in a few months. Slang.
Stick to singing.
Jeez, look, I wasn't gonna say this, but Lindley and Avery, this
Oh, no.
little attitude that y'all see with them, keep the cameras on them. Keep the cameras on them. Like that little comment, like stick to singing, like, you know.
Cut it.
I've been dealing with this, and I mean dealing with this since how long ago? How long was 8th grade for y'all? 3 years, 4 years.
Almost 4.
Almost 4, yeah.
I taught them in 8th grade 4 years ago, or close to 4 years ago, and I've been dealing with this little, like, this side eye attitude. Like, look at that.
But yeah, you're still.
That's
We're literally.
not fair.
You're still your favorite
Yeah, and
student.
we're
You're
li-
easy
We're
to dog on. Like,
yeah,
that's not
their
you can't
fault.
hold
I
it
get you.
against us.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it, but girls, that's not Christ-like. I'm just like,
All right.
I'm messing with you.
You
Nah,
act as if you don't say we're still your favorite students.
Someone's hung up on the past.
I'm not gonna say anything because I know a lot of students are watching this. They're gonna be like,
and they all know our
They
class
know
was your
it's
favorite.
true.
okay. We're gonna change the subject.
Class
All
of
right?
2027 forever.
See, deflecting. What are we doing?
I have one more question, and then I wanted to just basically for us to extend the invite to other, schools. And y'all were saying already, Lindley, you were actually saying about how you've been inviting a lot of people, and where, like, if you can, like, where were these people from? Are they from here, or are they from?
Some are from Carrizo, some Pearsall, like stuff
Yeah.
like that. Some of our family members.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think one of my biggest things is, kind of going off of that, is I've been trying to invite Nathalia, Lytle, Divine, Pearsall, Catula, Carrizo, Uvalde, and all these communities. I guess my last thing for you girls is, y'all, you know why y'all hear them laughing is because they're over joking. Wow.
I was nothing.
Nah,
Never mind.
no,
Never mind.
No, I
Cut
know.
it.
Be serious now.
Anyways, you're making me forget the question.
Mm.
I know what you're doing. But
Hey, we
If-
play them later this week. What can I say?
I get you.
Halloween?
Yeah. So if you're not understanding what they're referring to, we play Catula this week, And as y'all know, that's the I-35 rivalry. And but we're not going to get into that. This is not a sports show.
Mm-mm.
And let's change the subject back to what's more important, all right? But I guess my last thing for you girls is, I guess it's kind of two things. Number one, what would you say? Because there's a lot of FCA youngsters that we have. We have a lot of middle school kids. We have a lot of younger high school, like, you know, like Isabella and all that freshman class. A lot of them are part of FCA. What would your, you know, I guess like some advice you would give them as older, you know, juniors and gonna be seniors here pretty soon as well? What's some advice, you know, that you would give them? Not just like regular school advice. I'm talking about like, well, you know, with their walk with God and things like that. Like, what would you say? Like, you know, and it don't have to be anything long either.
Don't be lukewarm. I feel like that's
Okay.
like
Shoot.
like I don't
Go to her.
Dang.
She just came
I
out.
feel
like,
I feel like whenever I was a freshman, I was a very lukewarm Christian.
Mhm.
I would go to church, but I wouldn't fully commit myself.
Why do you think that's the case?
Oh boy.
Oh, I'm not asking for like
No, I know.
personal things, but like, why do you think? Like, what about life was causing you to go both ways like that?
I just saw like all the older high school kids, and they'd go out and they'd have fun and they'd go to parties, but then they would be like, "Yeah, I'm Christian."
So you saw that,
Yeah.
and you, I tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure you will, but like you seeing those older ones kind of made you feel like, hey, I could probably do it too, and so that's why I'm having y'all do this because now you are the older ones.
Yeah.
You get me? And so go ahead and finish up. I'm sorry.
Just don't be lukewarm. I feel like that's a very big thing. And then also be strong in your prayer life. Use your whole heart. Don't just pray because you feel it's something you need to do. Pray with your heart.
Yeah, don't make it a religious thing. Yeah. Go for
And
it.
then just go to as many events as you can. As much as, even if you like don't feel like you necessarily want to go to them, you need to go. They're something that like I've gone to so many events and I'm just like, oh, I don't think I really want to go to this, but then it ends up being an event that like
Helps you a lot.
it helps me a lot. It gets me through a lot of times.
Yeah.
So
Lindley?
I would say stay consistent. I feel like I've been very off and on the past 2 years, but then this past year I've gotten closer to God, and so not just like join FCA, but find that little group that supports you in everything you do, and then you talk about your faith and you talk about the hard stuff, because I feel like without that you won't have anybody to turn to. So like kind of just use God through everything you do.
And kind of go off of what you just said there at the end, like, you know, whenever you choose that select group of people to hang around with, I would highly suggest now, you know, Lindley reminds me every time she sees me that I'm not young. And so my advice as an older individual would be whoever that select group is, always reflect and examine, are they people that pull you away from God or bring you closer to God? And I think in high school, that's a very, very important thing because literally you're surrounded by people all day.
Yeah.
All hours throughout the day. And so it's very important with who you surround yourself with. I've always said you're a product of your environment, right? And, you know, last thing I'll say, girls, is if you want to just, you know, look at the camera and basically just give your invite or just basically just invite others to this upcoming Wednesday there in Dilley. It, like I said, it don't have to be anything crazy, but just I wanted y'all to have y'all's time to do that. So go for it.
Okay, well, we would love for everybody who sees this to come out to Fields of Faith. What time does it start at?
6. So at 6:30 we start giving out food, and then at 7 the service starts.
Okay, yeah. So, come and go to Fields of Faith. It's a great event. It's life-changing, and yeah, you should just come. Yeah, all are welcome.
Be there, be square. Yeah, it's a great event, and it's at the football stadium in Dilley, so everybody is welcome, and from any town. from any town and any age.
And so going off of what the girls were talking about, we would love to have you no matter who we're playing against that week in football. But definitely, you're more than welcome. It doesn't matter if you're a student or not. We're going to have free food there to give away. It's obviously live praise and worship happening. A lot of really good testimonies that are going to be said. And, there's going to be a time of prayer, and, it's just a lot of time where we build up each other, and it's a really good experience. And these girls can testify, and you've heard them testify to what's taking place and what we expect in the near future. But, girls, I thank y'all for taking the time to come and be a part of this. I know y'all definitely didn't have to say yes, but I thank y'all for being here. I really appreciate y'all. Even though I know we joke with each other and but I do really appreciate y'all being here and doing this. It really means a lot to myself. And, I'm sure these people that are listening to this were really blessed by it. But again, girls, thank you. And God has a big calling in your lives. And I'm glad to see that y'all have grown into individuals that have realized that. Because it's sad to say that, some young people don't. And but I'm just glad, and I thank God for your lives, and I'm excited to see what He has in store for you in your near future. And whenever that happens, just don't forget about us little guys over here. But thank y'all, girls, again. And again, I just want to thank y'all for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hey,
hit that follow button.
And so. But on a serious note, if y'all like this video, share it with your friends and family. And if you can, help us invite others to the Fields of Faith. We'd love to see you, and we'd love to worship with you as well. That's all I had. And girls, did y'all have anything else y'all wanted to say?
No.
No?
Mm-mm.
No? Well, that's all, folks. I'm just playing. But again, thank y'all for watching. God bless you. Make sure to subscribe, and share this video with your family and friends. Also, one last thing. On November 16th, we're gonna be having our album release party here at our church. Every person that comes to this is gonna get a free shirt or merch for that's inspired by our album. Our album is called Perspective Moments 2. It's gonna be a really, really nice time. We're actually gonna be doing a live podcast right before the service. So the service starts at 7. At 6 o'clock, we're gonna be starting a podcast, and we're gonna just be. It's gonna be right with, like, let's say you are there and you're sitting there, you are gonna be a part of the podcast as the live audience. And it's going to be a really fun time, and we're going to have food and stuff afterwards, and it's going to be a really nice time, and I thank God for the opportunity to release music like this. But so stay tuned, November 16th. We'd love to see you. We'd love to have you, and that's all I had. God bless you. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you again. Thank you.